What's up, everybody? Doubling down. No pleasantries, no welcomes, no intros. You know Vinny. You know me, Colin. It's too big of a week with two big races to worry about any of that. So let's go. I hate to be short, Vinny, but sometimes we talk too long, and we've got two superior races. This might be the best daily double that I've had on this show all year. Of course, it's Travers weekend up at Saratoga. Vinny, am I wrong? I mean, this is all you asked for.
Yeah, these are. I mean, both of these races shaped up to be fantastic. I'm very as a fan, I am very happy with how these races shaped up. As a handicapper, it's one of those things that if you're right, you're going to get paid because even your favorites in this spot are probably like you're looking at 2-1 favorites in probably in each leg, and with this many horses, it's going to pay. So you're going to make money on the double if you hit it either way, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, let's get right into it. It's the Jerkens Travers Daily Double for Saturday, August 24th. The Jerkens is the race that goes 7 furlongs. So some of those horses you've seen on the Derby Trail earlier that maybe didn't like that added distance, a horse like Prince of Monaco, Timberlake, Bookham Dano, all line up here with a field of 11, couple new shooters on there as well. I thought you could go in a variety of ways here. World record on the inside to me is very interesting. It's a lightly raced horse who has gone wire to wire in 2 races, one up at Saratoga in the Amsterdam, one at Churchill, but the other 2 didn't get to the lead and finished third in both of those races behind Auto the Conqueror. I thought world record is a place you have to start on that inside speed. Probably had to make a decision pretty quickly on what you're going to do. This horse can go wire to wire, I think, but if it doesn't, maybe it's a horse that you don't want to put on your ticket. What do you think about world record?
I like him. I mean, I wouldn't shock me if he goes wire to wire. That Amsterdam effort was huge. I think there's a lot of speed in here, so I don't think he'll be left alone. I also think this race kind of goes through what the connections of Bookham Dano decide to do. Because if he doesn't really, he's cross-entered in for the race in Charlestown on Friday that has the same purse. If he doesn't go here, that just opens this race up more. Because I feel like you have to use him if he's in the race. If he's not in the race, I think like you said, you can go a variety of different ways, and one of the ways you could go is that world record just improves off that Amsterdam win, and he just runs everybody else off their feet. So I mean, there's definitely an angle I looked at. There's so many horses here I can make a case for that I think he's going to be. I think because of that effort, he's going to be very heavily bet. I think he's going to be one of the favorites, and with all the speed, like you said, like the races he didn't get a comfortable early lead, he didn't run he didn't pass horses. He doesn't seem like he likes to pass horses. It seems like he wants everything his own way up front. And while that Amsterdam was very impressive, the track was playing very much in favor of speed that day. I mean, this effort was just crazy. I mean, and this is the Churchill. This is his Churchill race, right? Where he came in
Two
third.
back where I wanted to point out where he just got in tight on the rail and got behind horses. And Raging Torrent in this race was just out on a nice, comfortable lead, So
yeah, and again, if world record gets out on a comfortable lead, yeah, like I don't see if he opens up by a length or two and like is allowed to set like that kind of pace of 22:44, which I don't think it will be. I think it'll be much faster. I mean, he's just good. He's a very good horse. I'm not using him in the sakes of this double. Depending on how the track is playing, I'm sure he will find his way onto at least one of my late pick 5 tickets because I'd hate to lose to a horse like this, especially if for some reason he does go off at like 4-1 because he does have a ton of talent.
Yeah, and the interesting thing too is draws the rail again. The last 3 races have all been on the rail, so knows what is totally comfortable down there.
Yep.
I do use world record on my ticket. There's a concern there that you had Pratt, and someone on my Twitter made a good comment here today where Pratt had a choice of 4 horses, and world record was one of those. So you get Luis Saez, though, who is a horse jockey that I'm very comfortable having a horse on the front end. So I'm okay there. Speakeasy's a horse, the one that was scratched from the Fountain of Youth that day. Remember that race with Dornoch? What did you think about Speakeasy? You used them on your ticket.
Yeah, I used him on my ticket just because I don't know how good he really is. Like that debut
Is that
was
a good comment or a bad comment?
like he's gonna be a price here because of you have a lot of proven horses. You have a lot of stakes winners already, like in this field. He's only got 2 races. His debut was great. He takes that giant time off. The what it was like 6 months he took off basically, or
Yep,
five
and comes
months or
back.
something.
Yep.
Yeah, he comes back. He doesn't break well, and then he circled that field with ease. Like, and I know it wasn't a great field, but off the layoff, like that was pretty good. Like that was a good effort. He got a decent figure for it. Uh like if he improves second time off the bench, like why not? And like he seems like he should have more speed than he showed this day, where he's back here. If I remember correctly, what is he? See the number? Is he the 2 or the 3? Or he might be the 8 here, right?
I think he's a 5.
He's a 5.
I
Oh
think
yeah,
so.
that's the Windstar. Yep, that's Windstar. But he's all the like he's back in this second flight. He has more early speed than that. And if he breaks better, I think he'll be kind of near that pace and at a price like here's a horse that people were talking about as being like a potential Derby winner. And now you're going to give me close to double digit odds. Like I just feel like for a double, he just made a ton of sense here.
Yeah, my concern was only the 2 races. You know, you're going into some pretty deep waters here.
Yep.
And this was also a 6 furlong race. Has the victory at 7 furlongs. That was in the first race in January, but that's a long time ago compared to the competition the horse is running against. So 7 furlongs is a funny distance, right? It's not for your sprinters and it's not for the horses that want to go long. And when it came down to it, I just decided to leave Speak Easy off my ticket,
Yeah.
but certainly can't blame you. Like you said, I can't blame anybody for picking anybody in this race. So all the power to you. I'll pass on Speak Easy. We both agreed on Domestic Product. Here's a horse from an Equibase speed figure. I love to see the consistency, right? So 106, 101. It lets me know that Domestic Product is a horse that can do that again. Now, we haven't seen the hundreds from Speak Easy, and we've seen back-to-back 104, 105 from world records. So that was something that definitely came into my considerations going through this race when you've got to make some cuts somewhere. But I had mentioned about Pratt had his options, and he lands on Domestic Product. Domestic Product, I believe, is a talented horse. You know, this horse ran into Dornoch back in the Remsen last year, was second to Hades in that Holy Bull. You'll remember where we all expected Fierceness to roll off the bench, and we got one of those inconsistent efforts that we've maybe hopefully not become accustomed to. Wins the Tampa Bay Derby. You can cross a line through the Kentucky Derby in my mind, comes back with a second in the Pegasus, and then wins by 7.5 lengths in the Dwyer going a mile. I almost wonder if the 7 furlongs is a little bit of a concern for Domestic Product. Does he want to be at that mile? You're using Domestic Product as well, so we agree there. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel like I've seen Chad take this kind of route with a horse before, and with the amount of, like I said before, with the amount of pace in here, like he's gonna be a little farther back than I think his numbers show. I think he's probably gonna be 5 or 6 back, but he clearly the distance isn't a problem for him. Um, I mean, it's the mount that Pratt chose, and like I know it's Klarovich, and he does ride a lot for Chad. But I mean, like world records, Windstar. Windstar gives him a good amount of mounts. Starlight Racing was Prince of Monaco. Like he must think this. Like part of me thinks that like Pratt thinks of all of his horses. This one really has a good chance of winning the way the race turned out. So I wasn't gonna leave him off, especially like you said, he had choice of 4 horses, and this is the one he landed on. And he's having an excellent Saratoga.
I'm going to start a drinking game whenever I say this on this show, which is increasing speed figures that have continued to go up, and my viewers probably so take a shot when you hear me say that. But that's exactly what you've seen from domestic product, right? I mean, 70s in the 2-year-old season towards the end, comes back, starts putting up, puts up that 92, regresses a little bit, but then shows some more growth here with the 101 and the 106. And Chad, as you know, of my Equibase angle of continuing to improve horses, you always expect them bounce for other trainers. Chad able to keep them going. Let's skip ahead to Prince of Monaco, who you mentioned. This is the Bob Baffert horse. And Vinny, I'm tired of betting Bob Baffert's up at Saratoga because they have done nothing good for me. I tried to beat National Treasure. What was that, Belmont Stakes weekend, and he beat me. Then I tried to go with Imagination. I did not have any luck there. I went back with National Treasure in his last race at Saratoga. So for me, I am 0 for 4 with Bob up at Saratoga. I'm going to pass on Prince of Monaco with the ship. You used Prince of Monaco.
I did, and my logic is that I feel like Bookham Dano again. But if Bookham Dano runs here, I think he's a must use. But if Bookham Dano's not here, like he almost caught him. Like that is kind of, and he almost caught him off of a giant. Like I mean, that was his first start as a 3-year-old.
Yeah, true.
Second start as a 3-year-old. Baffert's been like, I know the works out in California definitely look a little faster than the ones on the East Coast do most of the time. But like, if he like, I believe it's Baffert's only runner of the day. Like, I feel like this horse is not shipping back here to run a bad race. It's a logical spot for him. And second off the bench, I just think he's another one. I just think he looks too good not to try to use here on a double, where I don't think this horse is going to be the favorite. He might be second or third choice, but I don't really see him being the favorite, even if Dano scratches out. So I'm going to use him just because I think there's some value there.
You got me worried. I don't have. You got me double thinking.
I didn't like him last time. I singled Bookham Dano in the Woody Stevens, and I was 200 yards from home. I was pretty worried he got caught. So he didn't get caught, which is good. But and man, second off the bench, sometimes they improve, sometimes they go backwards, and at a decent price, I'm willing to roll the dice with them.
We both passed on a grade 1 and grade 2 winner, Timberlake, who's cutting back from the 1 1/8 to the 7 furlongs, a distance that I remember in the Kentucky Derby Trail us saying this horse needs to cut back. He doesn't like these 2 turns, and 7 furlongs is perfect for him. And you get Brad Cox, Florent Giroux here. We're both passing on Timberlake. I'm all set in this spot. I just wonder if he can go back to those 105s. He was gonna. Is he going to try to come from off the pace, or is he going to be forwardly paced? And he's you don't really know what you're going to get. And Pratt doesn't select him. So I just had some question marks to have me look otherwise elsewhere. And Vinny's frozen.
I lost you sorry. I lost you for a second.
Yeah, you're good. Timberlake, no for you.
He was a no for me because I saw somebody posted a trainer stat the other day. I want to say it was Nick Tamaro posted it, that Brad Cox with graded stakes horses cutting back from a route to a sprint is like 4 for 30 something with like a 0.76 ROI in the last 5 years. Like, that is, like, to me, that is just like I wouldn't expect that from Cox, but it doesn't seem like that is something great.
Route to sprint. What was it? Route to sprint.
I think it was
graded stakes.
Yeah.
What we can do here is show the people how easy it is to do something like this on Equibase. Live example here.
It was Nick Tamaro. He's 4 for 33 with a 0.76 ROI, cutting back on dirt in all stakes over the last 5 years. So it's just cutbacks in dirt stakes over the last 5 years. He is 4 for 33 with a .76 ROI. And I thought there was a chance that that Timberlake is going to be a wise guy horse because of exactly what we said. All year you've been hearing people say he needs the cutback, he needs the cutback, he needs the cutback. He's probably going to be the wise guy horse. I think he's 6-1 on the morning line. He'll probably go off shorter because he's Brad Cox. I feel like that's a horse you got to try to beat and not use defensively. So that's why he's not on my ticket.
Yeah, I'm going to toss him as well. My numbers are a little bit different. I did past 5 years, dirt, route to sprint, graded straight stakes, Brad Cox, easy for me to say. 15 starts, 2 wins, and those 2 wins were Denim and Pearls and Lady Rocket in April and June. So that's how nice and quick on RaceLens here. You can pull up that info as we're talking through it live. Let's get into the meat of the horses that I like. I'm going to use Auto the Conqueror. You see where I drew my lines through. I think that the distance hits this horse right between the eyes. I think he loves this distance. The ones I've crossed out are the ones we're running at a mile and a 16th, where he did not perform his best. Tyler Gaffleone is aboard with Steve Asmussen. The last 2 races, 105s. Now, those are an allowance in a stakes race, the Maxfield Overnight, but they were from Churchill Downs, and that's another race where world record was in behind Auto the Conqueror. Vinny, any interest here?
I didn't have any interest. I can see
Oh,
why
I
people
forgot
are.
my main reason. 20-1.
Yeah. I mean, I get like I said, I can't fault you for using him. I just thought there was too much. I just thought there was too much speed for him to end up
Hang.
being the winner. Like it wouldn't shock me if he runs he runs second or third, but as the winner, I was like I liked too many I liked too many others to give him a shot here. So if he wins, he wins. I wouldn't fault you for it.
We've talked about Bookham Dano with Castellano aboard, the Grade 1 winner of the Woody Stevens. Another horse where the 6 furlongs, 7 furlongs really hits them. It's where they want to be at. And that was kind of my angle for using 7 and 8, but also Bookham Dano. This is an impressive horse coming down the stretch. I mean, the only 2 losses were to Forever Young and Where's Chris, and that was the 2-year-old season at Aqueduct. This horse at 7-2, most likely your favorite.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think I honestly think if he runs, he is a borderline single.
Wow.
I think he is just much better than a lot of these horses, which is why I'm spread because I handicap this race under the assumption that he is not running. I am going to guess they take the easier route to the Breeders' Cup and they run them at Charlestown. They said they would announce it. I want to say they said by like Wednesday night they would have their decision, so we'll know. But I handicap this race entirely based on the fact that Bookham Dano is not running. So if he does run, I'm using him because I
And
think he's very good.
And if he doesn't run, I'll take your advice on Prince of Monaco and add Prince of Monaco to my ticket. So we'll put that in the tweet. Last up in this race, who you took? I knew you were going to take this horse. This is the Vinny Special, number 10, Jefferson Street. Convince the people.
I don't think that second place in the world record last time was as bad as it looks. World record got out on a very easy lead by himself with the other speed didn't go that day. He was all alone. And this track, all this entire day, played to the front end. And I mean, the race was over right here. Like I forget what number the other speed was supposed to be. Nobody went with him. And yes, he ends up losing by 6, but he also is forced to try to make a weird middle move after him. And he just wasn't getting there. He uses all of his energy to just get up into second to try to put pressure. And then world record ends up rolling. But that's not what he wants to do. He wants to sit behind the speed, and there is a lot more speed today. So I don't think he's going to be chasing a loose leader. And if he's not chasing a loose leader, he runs very well. It's not like he finished up poorly. World record just ran an absolutely monster of a race. I don't think he finished bad. So I think with more with him having more speed to chase and him not having to make a weird middle move to try to be the only horse to apply pressure, I don't see why he can't win. So, he's going from being the favorite in the Amsterdam to being like he's going to be what, almost double digits probably.
Oh
He's
yeah, for
12 to
sure.
1 on the morning line. Like he might get bet if there's a scratch or two, he might be like 8 to 1. He's a good horse, and we're gonna everyone's discrediting him because he got burned last time to lone speed. So I'll give him another nod. I think the outside post helps him. So I just think
Yeah,
he
and
fits.
Vilmot obviously knows how to place his horses as well, right? We've talked about that. And
Yep.
while we're here, we'll talk about that outside speed of the number 11 Little Knee. That's why I wasn't didn't care for this horse, was because of the post.
He is one of those horses that I feel like I'm like if he beats me, he beats me. He could be very good. He could either be very good or he could be but I think he's a very key player in the race though because he has to go. Like I don't see a scenario where they try to rate him.
Right.
So if he breaks well, he's going to cut in front of as many horses as he can to be in that one or be in that like 2-3 path because I don't think he'll outbreak world record early unless world record stops. So, but I mean that's a potential speed duel because you have a horse on the inside who has to go and you have a horse on the outside who has to go, which is why I think the pace is hot, which is why the four horses I'm using on this doubling down ticket are all horses that want to come from a little bit off the pace because I don't see one of them surviving that speed duel.
On to the marquee event of the summer up at Saratoga. We just spent 20 minutes, and that what a field, what a race that's going to be. So certainly don't just tune in for the Travers, turn in for the Jerkens as well. As we turn to race 13, it is the DraftKings Travers Stakes, Vinny, a field of 8, and the big story is obviously in the rail position here with Torpedo Anna looking to become the first filly to win the Travers since 1915. What a historic race, Vinny. I'm a sucker for these types of stories. I just want Torpedo Anna to win so bad. I think it's such a cool. We watched her win together actually when we hit our group pick 5,
Yeah.
and she's a winner. She's made me a winner here on Doubling Down, going all the way back to the race before the Oaks. I touted her on the Oaks, which was nice to see her get home. I didn't expect her. When you have a victory like that, you don't necessarily think that they're going to take a path that lands with the Travers going against the boys and have the success that she's had. So I'm on the ride. I'm so enamored with the content that's coming out with her, where hey, she's going to be in the paddock at 3:30 on Sunday, and hey, she's going to be here at 5:30 on the track on Thursday, and that's what this sport needs. And to have a filly like this to step into the spotlight, I will be honest. I was on Swiss Skydiver when she won that Preakness, and I kind of just knew she was going to win. I had that feeling like, oh, she's going to win. She's the best. I can't necessarily say that about how I feel about Torpedo Anna, but I absolutely think she has a shot here. And Vinny, what I would say is, and this is what I said in that Oaklawn race when I did Doubling Down, and when I watched that race, this is what led me to pick her in the Oaks. Brian Hernandez barely moved on her, and he really hasn't moved on her much at all in any of her races, and she just does her thing. I would say in the last race was the first time he kind of saw him giving her a little bit more than he has in any of the previous races, and he was just still up 4 lengths. So Torpedo Anna for me is absolutely a use. I know she's on the rail. I know people might talk about that being a problem, but you've got Sierra Leone next to you, who, I mean, is this horse going to break with Torpedo Anna and put the screws to her? No. We know Unmatched Wisdom is going to go, right? I mean, I think that's the obvious case to try and keep up probably with Dornock and Fierceness, but can the 3 keep up with those 2? I don't necessarily think so. So I think Torpedo Anna is going to be fine, be able to save some space in the rail. And if there's a jockey this year who we've seen all across our TVs about making a nice little rail trip, she's got the jockey aboard. I'm not passing on her. I'm disappointed to see you did.
I wanted to use her, but I feel like if I used her on this ticket, it would have been a 4x4 double ticket, and I'm like, that just doesn't make sense.
No, all right. So it's
She's
a
gonna be
value play for the
she's
people.
right. She's gonna be on my pick 5 for the reason you said. I don't know if we've seen her best yet. And if
Yeah.
we haven't seen her best, that makes her very scary. I
And
like
don't forget,
that's
Vinny, not only have we not seen her best, she lost a shoe 2 races ago, and she nearly goes down here in the last race.
yep, I know. And like she could just be much better than everybody else, which is, and that's why she's going to be on my ticket. I just don't like a start like this. I don't think she can get away with here. I think
Yeah.
she's going to have to bring her A game to win. I don't, while, like Candy almost won the Alabama, and like, I don't think the race necessarily like didn't flatter her, but it wasn't great. Like that time in the Alabama was bad. Like she would have had the for her to be content. Like she would have had to win the Alabama by about like 12 or 14 lengths to post a time that is probably that would probably win the Travers. I think they finished the Alabama in like 2:04. I mean, the winner of this race, the winner is probably going to run somewhere between like 20, probably 2:01 to 2:02. I mean, so she would have had to floor that field. And like I know she hasn't been asked, but that was kind of my reasoning where I'm not using her on the double ticket. But yeah, I agree with you. It's a great story for the sport. It would be awesome if she won. I'm not. She's on my pick. I'm putting her on my pick 5. I'm not leaving her off because if she wins, I don't want to miss out on that.
Vinny, you go with Sierra Leone, a horse that I just can't get
I
behind. I
know.
mean,
I
there's 2
know.
horses.
I
It's
know.
Sierra Leone, who we just keep talking about, and
I
this is the
know.
horse. This is the one to be on. You convinced me of this horse for Belmont Stakes that took me off my boy Dornock.
Yep.
Going into that, everyone on the radio saying he's the best in the race. You have to use him. Then comes back, loses to Fierceness. Fierceness, which one are we going to get? You go with the 2 wild cards, in my opinion, 2 that I'm just okay if they beat me. I'll take a shot against them, and one day they'll beat me, and that's okay.
Yeah. The way I looked at this race was that the Jim Dandy was the best race going into it. So that's kind of what I did. I stuck with the Jim Dandy. I again, I'm proud. My pick 5. I am probably going to use 5 horses in in this race. I'm not like I think Sierra Leone is definitely going to get a better setup today than he has. Belmont Day again. That track played to speed all day, which is why I went with Mind Frame that day because I thought Mind Frame was just going to go gate the wire and Dornock beat him on the inside, and then he came back to beat Mind Frame again. And then in the Jim Dandy, you had a smaller field, and it really wasn't good. As much as I would love to see Batten Down win, he is a grade 3 caliber horse in my opinion. But like right here, like you have Fierceness chasing like a soft pace from a horse that is probably going to be in a claiming race if he runs again. Like that wasn't a good this wasn't a good Jim Dandy field. It looked like it on paper because you had Seize the Gray, who I still think benefited from that wet track Preakness day.
You just
But
said that you're betting because of the Jim Dandy, the Jim
right,
Dandy
but
race.
like I think the top 2 are just like I think they're just that much better though. I mean, I
Okay.
that's kind of where I'm going is that I Fierceness run if Fierceness runs this race and Sierra Leone runs this race, I think they finish 1-2. I don't see where they wouldn't. I mean, maybe Dornock gets brave on the front end, but really do think Fierceness is just the horse to beat. Even if I know everybody says he's got that every other pattern, but I feel like when you look at it, he really like. I feel like you can draw a line through the Derby because he was on that pace that nobody survived.
Mhm.
Nobody survived that pace. And his other bad race was his first race as a 3-year-old after a layoff.
Yep, off a
So like
layoff,
he need
coming out
right.
of a
So like
Breeders' Cup too.
right. So like you say he and like I don't think he liked this like I don't think he liked the slop for like when he ran bad like
So
you
there you go.
take like
We put a
he
line
had
through the 3.
right like he has legitimate excuses in all 3 of his very bad races. Now, it could just be a pattern, but I feel like I would feel silly if I didn't use a horse like this who has posted the best speed figures of any 3-year-old for going 2 turns this year, and he beats me because I thought, "Oh, well, this is his race where he's just not gonna show up because he does every other." He's 2 for 2 at Saratoga too. So I just think if he runs his race, he's going to be very tough to beat, and he gets the perfect draw with sitting right outside of Dornoch. I mean, it could be a good thing for him. It also could be bad that like he's got to try to pass a stubborn Dornoch because that's not going to go well. Um, like he's probably like nobody's probably going to pass Dornoch like he's standing still, which is also my issue with Anna for this double ticket. Was that
Yeah.
if he goes, who is going to pass him? And that's where I landed on Fierceness in Sierra Leone because I feel like either Fierceness stalking him on the outside could be able to get it done, or if he does get Brave, Sierra Leone is just gonna be flying down late, and he's just gonna pass everybody.
Yeah, I can't fault you. And if we've always, I was all over Fierceness for the Derby. Obviously, it made me not look smart, and I was all over him in the Holy Bull. So I have been completely incorrect on my options with picking Fierceness. But what you say is exactly those reasons that I did think he would win the Derby and that I did think he would easily win the Holy Bull is because the talent there is, if he brings his A game, he's really going to be hard. But I
Yep.
feel bad. I jumped off my boy Dornoch for the Belmont Stakes, and I'm not getting back off. I'm not leaving him again. So I'm
you
taking.
know.
I mean, I have two of my favorite horses right now in this race, and I'm not going. I'm not going anywhere else except for Dornoch and Torpedo Anna. We can do the same game that you just did, I think, with Dornoch. I mean, let's
Oh
toss the
yeah.
Derby, right?
You,
A rail trip in the Derby, and actually ran pretty well. And then we know that in the Toyota Bluegrass, that was a race they were trying to teach him to rate, and he didn't.
yep.
He didn't rate. He didn't like it. So
No,
they were
I
doing what he didn't want to do. So you can throw a line through that one as well. You can throw a line, I think, through a horse's first start when they are bumped at the beginning, and then the second start ends up 6 wide at Monmouth. So those ones are a little bit of a I'll
yeah.
give it to you,
I
but
mean, in both of those starts, he was like on the replays in both of those starts, he was the best horse. That was just like that is where like race like you just sometimes need race luck in those spots. Like that was like his I still remember his maiden race, he was touted through the moon and he ran huge and he got beat up the rail on a sloppy track by Seize the Gray who is a grade 1 winner in the slop. Doesn't end up being all that bad of a loss. Yeah, even here, this is
we'll play this one for you just so you can watch Dornoch beat Sierra Leone again
yeah,
because
and
this
I
was
was
one of
on
the most
I
unbelievable
was
races
on yeah, and I was on Dornoch here. Like this was a
blown
like
by.
yep, he blew by and Dornoch fights back. And like Dornoch's going to be on my pick 5. He's another like I said I'm going to go 5 deep here. I'm using the 4 logicals and I'm going to use 1 bomb and corporate power on my pick 5 ticket. But for the double ticket, like I can't use all 5 on the double ticket. So I'm just gonna go with my top 2, and that's who I landed on.
Very good. I realized that I forgot to upload the ticket for us, so I'm gonna have to say it out loud for people. I'm gonna go 1378 with the 17. It'll cost you $8. Vinny goes 23510 with the 28. That'll also cost you $8. So $8 tickets. We both can't win, unfortunately. We both can get through that first leg with domestic product, but we're pretty widespread across both legs, which I think just speaks to the talent on Travers Day. Vinny's going to be up at the track. Make sure you reach out to him on Twitter, stop by and say hello. I'm jealous that I will not be there with you, Vinny. I missed your Whitney weekend, but
Yeah,
we got the chat going, and it's just a superb weekend of racing up at Saratoga.
agreed. Yeah, hopefully one of us hits it right. Like that's the that's the goal.
And one of us will hopefully get paid for that. Till next
Yep.
time, I'm Colin Sheehan. He's Vinny Blonde. This is Doubling Down. Please put in the comments your pick for this daily double for Saturday, the Travers Stakes, and stick to the channel. We got content coming at you left and right. Until next time, everybody, good luck.